wasn't cracking any codes in the beginning, bro. I was making trash music. I was like, no one's on this right now. Every artist is trying to get on there. Every manager label is telling their artists.
From my vision, you were the first person on it as an artist.
In the last few years, DiscoLines has come up from opening shows around his hometown of Boulder, Colorado, to selling out Red Rocks Amphitheater, having a residency in Las Vegas, and even playing shows as far from home as Australia. In this video, we look at the rise of DiscoLines and how he worked his way up in his career to one of the most streamed EDM artists of 2025. DiscoLines, or Thaddeus Francis Labaszewski, was born in Denver, Colorado. Growing up in Colorado, Thad grew up doing outdoor activities like skiing and hiking. When he was young, his parents enrolled him in piano and guitar lessons.
They put me in guitar and piano lessons as a kid. I did that for like 15 years.
His parents exposed him to many different types of music.
I grew up, my mom would always bump Fleetwood Mac. My dad would always bump the Police, the Eagles. My first guitar lesson, I gave him my iPod, and the first song that came on was like cranked at it. It was just like, you! In middle school, I remember homies showing me Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. That blew my mind.
Thanks to Denver's lively music scene, starting out in middle school, Thad began attending EDM concerts.
The first show I ever went to, I was 14, I think. I had my girlfriend's mom sneak me out. Paper Diamond at the Ogden Theater. It was like trap. Wow. It was so ill.
He attended Arapahoe High School, and there he started learning how to make music. He created his first alias, Shady Nasty, where he was experimenting with hip-hop beats and tropical house music.
I was producing in high school. I used to make beats. Are you familiar with Suicide Boys? I made stuff in that style. My old DJ name was Shady Nasty. I was like making super soft, like tropical, like Kygo.
Growing up, his dad worked at NASA, and his mom worked in marketing, exposing him to two different types of thinking. One more analytical and math-oriented, and one more creative and experimental. This multifaceted upbringing would be essential to DiscoLines' career. In 2016, he graduated from high school. He left his job as a lifeguard and began attending college at the University of Colorado in Boulder for software engineering. While attending CU, he noticed his fellow peers mixing music, and he wanted to learn how to do it for himself. This is also where he would get the name for his project. The term DiscoLines is a party slang term from Boulder, Colorado.
That is derived from Boulder as well. I'll just tell you the story. So we had two friends at our fraternity, and one of my friends was like, Thaddeus, like, do you want to come take a disco line? I was like, what is that? And she was like, it was at a college party. It's like a drug reference, but I'm not proud of it right now. I don't really do it, but it was a thing back in Boulder. In freshman year of college, I thought that was dope.
When he got to college, his friends were listening to music he wasn't familiar with, and he didn't like it at first.
I remember our first Wine Wednesday, they were playing like Jaws and Chami, and I was like, no way, what is this? I hated it at first, I didn't really like it, and then the next day, I found myself listening to it, like on repeat.
In February of 2019, he began creating content on YouTube and posting to SoundCloud while experimenting with creating music.
What's up, YouTube? This is your boy DiscoLines coming at you with my first video. Today, I wanted to give you guys a little walkthrough of my remix for Halsey.
Before he graduated from CU, he started an internship developing for the sports and apparel and software company Fanatics. Just a few weeks after getting his internship, Thad would see the first taste of success in his music. He released his song Honey, and it blew up way more than he ever could have imagined. With the hype off this song and an audience of colleagues who enjoyed hearing him play, he contacted a venue in his local area and was able to headline a show at the Fox Theater in Boulder.
When I was throwing shows too, I wanted to step above the fraternity shows. I was like, I don't need to just DJ a Wine Wednesday. Like, I want to do the actual theater, the Fox Theater, which was the staple venue in Boulder. So I reached out to the guy and he's like, yeah, you can play, like just, you need to sell tickets. So sophomore year of college, I was doing some shows for my fraternity, like, you know, your classic Wine Wednesday. I was like, dude, I need to take this to the next level. So I reached out to the local venue. It was called the Fox Theater, and I sent them an email. And basically in that email, I introduced myself. I sent them my socials, my music, and then I said, hey, look, I can bring a good amount of people to your venue, right? And the booking agent responded. He's like, hey, you want to open up for this artist in a month? And then for like 3 more years, I played opening sets to maybe 5 people.
On top of headlining in Colorado, he began playing for colleges and nightclubs in Arizona and even Massachusetts while vlogging the entire thing. He continued working on music, creating videos and tutorials for YouTube, making music videos with his friends in college, all while going to school and working for Fanatics. But then without warning, all of Thad's shows got canceled. The entire country shut down, and his entire school shut down, leaving him without any way to play music live. So he did anything he could to try and get his music out there.
Yo, so I've officially fallen off, and I made a TikTok. and today we're going to try to make a viral TikTok song.
He started creating more social media content in an attempt to share his music, as well as releasing mixes to get exposure on his ability to play live. In the midst of the pandemic, he graduated from CU Boulder, finished his internship with Fanatics, and was hired on as a full-time software engineer for the company. But right as he began working with them in July of 2020, the unexpected would happen. A song from April DiscoLines had released on his SoundCloud began trending on TikTok and started an entire dance trend. The hashtag Love Story challenge began, making the song go viral. With the success from Love Story and his other songs, he began to gain more traction. He was contacted by a record company from LA and began to negotiate a record deal. By November of 2020, he packed a U-Haul and moved to California to chase his dreams. Everything seemed as though it was going in the right direction. He was surrounded with like-minded people, creating music and learning new skills and hobbies along the way. But then, in 2021, the label contacted him with some bad news.
And then the label decided to drop all my music and not pay for anything. I was about to move back home, so I decided to just double down, go harder.
With this newfound motivation, he began creating music like crazy, creating social media content and playing any show he could to get his name out there, making music videos and growing his network of like-minded artists. In late March of 2022, he would release his song Techno and Tequila that would get over 1.5 million plays on SoundCloud and almost 1 million on YouTube. Then a few days later, while in the airport, Thaddeus would create one of the biggest songs to date. On April 14th, Baby Girl was released on SoundCloud and YouTube and would collectively get over 11.5 million listens. With millions of people listening to his music, he began seeing consistent bookings, and the crowds at his shows were getting bigger by the day. August of 2022, he played Red Rocks for the first time, opening for Zed. In October, he released another one of his biggest tracks he had played out many times previously. Restless Bones, at the time of recording, has over 42 million streams on just Spotify alone. By the end of that year, he had such a following, he went on his first headlining tour, playing 7 shows across the United States and continuing a tour with 8 stops in Australia. When he returned from the tour, he continued to play shows at nightclubs across the United States, releasing music and collabs along the way with Shipwreck and others. By April of 2023, he was co-headlining Red Rocks with Chami. In June of 2023, he announced the opening of Good Good Records, his own record company, where he spent the year releasing his own music and collabs, including Justin J and another collab with Shipwreck. In July, he started the Good Good Radio, his own radio show on SiriusXM Electro. That would be a monthly, hour-long mix created by DiscoLines himself. Continuing off this hype, in August, he announced his Good Good Tour, consisting of over 15 dates across the US. Finishing this tour, he played a few winter shows at ski resorts in Colorado, California, and Canada, which brought him into 2024. He began 2024 with a collab with fellow artist Jay Wara. In early January, he announced his residency at Wynn Las Vegas and played a show in the Dominican Republic. In March, he collaborated with 2 fellow huge artists, Chami and Mala, exposing his music to a wide variety of electronic music fans. Also in March, he got to play a set at Ultra's Music Festival main stage in Miami. Then in April, he played more ski resorts in Vail and Mammoth Mountain. And later that May, he had a collaboration with Griffin on Magnet. Just a few weeks later, he returned home, but this time to play at the Regenerate Festival in Denver alongside artists John Summit, Gorgon City, and Eric Prydz. In August of 2024, he announced the Disco Boy Tour, and just before that, he played at the Listen Out Festival in 4 cities across Australia, played Ultra Hong Kong and Ultra Japan. During the Disco Boy Tour, he played across the world in Bali with John Summit, released a collab, and had a back-to-back with Dylan Francis. 2025 was easily the biggest year for DiscoLines by far. He began the year with his first release on John Summit's Experts Only label, played more ski resorts, and announced a residency at Live in Las Vegas. Played at Lollapalooza Festival in Argentina, then his first time headlining at Red Rocks, and playing Coachella only a few weeks apart. In May, he played at EDC Las Vegas, then a few weeks later would release his biggest song by far. No Broke Boys, at the time of recording, has currently over 365 million listens across YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify, pushing it to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 for dance and electronic, and making DiscoLines one of the biggest EDM artists on Spotify currently, with over 24 million monthly listeners and growing. Since the release, DiscoLines has exploded everywhere. He released another song on Experts Only with Shipwreck, I Don't Trust a Soul, played a sold-out show in San Diego, Chicago, ACL Festival in Texas, and headlined a show in New York City. He has currently announced dates for 2026 playing in Australia, Florida, and Los Angeles. It seems at this point there isn't anywhere DiscoLines can't play. Coming from opening slots in his hometown venue to headlining across the US and playing all across the world in just a few years is beyond impressive. If he keeps going at this rate, DiscoLines could end up to be one of the biggest names in EDM in the entire USA. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. All of the animations you see were made by hand. Now, I'd appreciate it if you liked, comment, or subscribed on this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.